Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another Elvira's Movie Macabre video, which I haven't done one of these since December of last year when I skipped forward in this boxed set to cover Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. There are 26 different films in this set. This was from her 2010 relaunch of Movie Macabre. I was going through about like one of these per week for about 6 to 8 weeks, and then I needed to take a break. I even thought about just calling it quits because it is a lot to sit through some of these movies, even though her portions of the hostings are really good. But I'm back trying to finish these off finally, and back on track with this episode of hers that I covered, which was for her hosting of The Wasp Woman from 1959. The synopsis of this strange old sci-fi horror film is as follows. The head of a major cosmetics company experiments on herself with a youthful formula made from royal jelly extracted from wasps, but the formula's side effects have deadly consequences. Now, as I've done previously for these titles, I will first address the film itself and then Elvira's presentation of that film. So, for The Wasp Woman, as many of the films in this set are, it's definitely aged, both in its style and its presentation. But as for the overall film, it was alright. It's an interesting concept for one of those old sci-fi horror kind of films, working in this wasp aspect. Maybe they were kind of trying to kind of counter like The Fly that had come out, I believe, a year earlier. But now it is slow at times, and we see but we do see an interesting setup with this beekeeper guy coming across these wasps and creating this concoction as a way to reverse aging, testing first on animals like these little guinea pigs and stuff, and eventually there's even a scene where he is able to turn a cat back into a kitten and such. But he shows it to this woman who is head of this cosmetics company, who is eager to try this reversal on herself. But being bigger than these animals are, being a human, it's working a bit more slowly on her, where she's wanting to try to speed up the process. And it eventually starts having some really strange side effects, you know, being kind of irrational and angry and impulsive, and then finally kind of violent. You know, eventually giving her this literal wasp head that looks kind of cheesy, but you know, it's crazy 50s sci-fi fun. So, but the problem really was that the quality of it was pretty bad, meaning bad visuals, bad audio, everything about the transfer of this film was pretty bad. It was kind of difficult to watch just because it was hard to make out what was happening sometimes, and the audio was bad on top of that. Now, I did hear that there was a remake of this, I believe, in the 90s. It wasn't really received all that well, but if there was a cleaned up version of this film, I could see it being worth the watch. But as for the Elvira portions of her hosting of this one was a lot of fun, as she leaned into the women's beauty secrets aspect with all the little skits that she put together, kind of promoting different products such as this aphasia thing that she's kind of, you know, posing with and everything. All these little skits that she works in, you know, were done pretty well. She even has the drag queen Peaches Christ show up as somebody who's trying to like learn about these beauty secrets, but she's actually there to try to steal her blood to use in a beauty product. Very strange stuff. And there's even a portion where Elvira kind of lets her hair down to give some tips and ends up swinging it around. It's really silly stuff. I'd actually showed it to a friend of mine last week who had done an Elvira-inspired burlesque show, and she really got a kick out of it. And I got a kick out of seeing somebody, you know, doing one of these shows like that. She really had a fun performance. I'll actually put some links to her Instagram within the description, so be sure to go and check out her burlesque and cosplay situations and everything. But anyways, back to the presentation of this film. You know, we also had Elvira's usual like pop-ins during the film. There weren't as many in this one as I recalled there being in previous installments, but it was still a lot of fun. And if you've been with my channel for a while, some of this may sound very familiar, where the movie's kind of so-so, maybe the transfer's bad, but Elvira had some fun skits, and that's about it. Very short. That's another reason why I'd kind of taken a break from making these videos. In many cases, there wasn't that much more to say, just like with this short one. But all in all, I would have to say that this is a pretty good entry, you know. Even though it would have been nice if the quality of the film itself was better, and it was off to a slow start, it wasn't all that Like, it wasn't boring or dragging too much. It was still interesting, where I wanted to see where the story was going. And then, of course, all of Elvira's segments were really great. So with all that, it was an entry in this set which, like others such as Night of the Living Dead or The Werewolf of Washington, was still worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this latest quick little video for the Wasp Woman from 1959, I believe, or 58, as presented via Elvira's movie Macabre from the 2010 relaunch. I hope to work my way through the rest of this set soon in the coming months, maybe do like one a month until I get through the rest, which I believe there's about 11 or 12 left that I still need to go through on this. They'll likely all be kind of quick little short ones like this, so if you enjoy, give a thumbs up, and if not already subscribed, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.